The Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to jamieappsmedia.com. Welcome to the Commentary Booth, your weekly entertainment recap and review show. My name is Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of co-hosts to run you through the entertainment media we consumed during the week. Along the way, we'll provide our commentary and recommendations. This week I'm joined by a DJ and music executive at Teg Live, who lists his favourite movie as Donnie Darko and favourite TV show as Seinfeld. Welcome back to the show, Jaxon Carr.
Thanks, man. Good to be back. How's it going?
Pretty good. Good to see the restrictions are slowly going away now.
Yeah, it's hopefully we can keep going with them. Like there were some, I don't know if you saw, but there were some idiots up in Queensland that they said you can go on picnics, and up in Burleigh, like everyone was on this hill and had picnic stuff. So I'm kind of afraid of a second wave if people keep doing that. But hopefully there's more good than bad around with everyone.
Yeah, fingers crossed we don't end up with more problems than we had before.
Yeah.
How's everything with work and that going? Is it slowly coming back?
Yeah, slowly coming back. I've just been working on a project with doing refunds for last year. There was the Boomers versus the USA basketball team in Melbourne and Sydney, and there was a few problems with everything with like the players not turning up and the seats and stuff. So the ACCC sent down their verdict, and I've just been working on refunds and stuff for that. So it's very admin, and it's not like my usual marketing stuff. It's great to be working and stuff, so I'm not complaining at all. Yeah,
it's not too bad. At least it's something to sort of break the boredom up.
Yeah, exactly. Plus it's sports stuff, which I love. So it's not too bad considering there's no sport at the moment.
Yeah, so speaking of having no sport at the moment, The Last Dance filling that void a little bit?
Oh, mate, I literally, 5 o'clock every Monday, I'm in front of the TV. I'm at home. My parents, as I mentioned last time, I'm like, Mum, leave me alone. I need this hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm loving it. How are you finding it?
Awesome. It's one of the best documentaries I've seen. The fact they have that much footage, and pretty much everybody they asked seemingly was willing to be interviewed for the show. Yeah,
it's quite amazing. And you see everything on the documentary from like his former teammates. Like it was awesome seeing Dennis Rodman being interviewed. And then even like the last couple of episodes, I really enjoyed like how he was talking about his sponsorship with Nike and how that came about. And back in the 80s, everyone was with like Converse, and then Nike came to him and they're like, hey, we want to make you like a tennis player, like an individual player. And they had like these goals to sell X amount of shoes. I can't remember how much it was. And they just sold like hundreds of millions within the first couple of years. It's all that kind of like sponsorship stuff really interests me. So that was amazing to see.
Yeah, I think it was something like they expected to sell, 3 million or something in the first 4 years, and they did it in like 6 months or something.
Yeah, crazy. And that was in the 80s as well. And it's just amazing to see the Jordan brand, how it's gone from there to where it is now. And yeah, he's just what he did for the NBA, not just on the court, but off the court, and individuals in team sports, truly no one can be compared to him because he just changed the whole game. And I personally think that's why he'll be remembered as the greatest of all time, not just for what he did on the court, but if there wasn't for him in the 80s and the 90s, I don't think the NBA would be where it's at right now in terms of its popularity and stuff. So it's just really interesting to see that side of the whole documentary as well, which is something I didn't expect, but I was stoked to see.
Yeah, absolutely. The NBA wouldn't be anything near what it is at the moment without his influence.
Yeah, exactly. It's just amazing. It's also interesting to see like his gambling habits and stuff, and how all the media like putting pressure on him and stuff because they found out what he was doing. And I think that kind of led him to retire for the first time because he just had enough of it mentally and stuff. But I think that's what they'll go into the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's good to see that they've actually gone into those bad times as well, like the dark moments that he had.
Yeah, it's good of him to let them do it as well, because I guess he'd have the final say of everything, and obviously he's got to talk about it all. So he seems like he's very open with everything that happened, and just a really insightful, great look into one of the greatest athletes across any sport.
Even with like the bad blood that he seemed to have with Isaiah Thomas, he seemed to be pretty open with that as well.
It's it's funny, like, because of that bad blood, I've seen a few, like Isaiah Thomas, the current NBA player, and there's like another NFL player that keep tweeting, like, everyone's acting like I'm the one that Jordan had a beef with and stuff. So it's quite funny to see how kids these days might not have known about the Isaiah Thomas in the 90s and I guess are being educated on one of the greatest point guards of all time, but obviously things that happened off the court prevented him from playing in that dream team and maybe achieving what he would have liked internationally.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where the next couple of episodes go as well.
So sad there's only 4 left. There's only 2 more weeks. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know. Ridiculous. It's gone so quickly, but each week it's so good.
It's kind of sad seeing Kobe being interviewed and stuff. That was a tough watch.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
Yeah.
As soon as it, like, at the start of the episode when it was dedicated to him, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. And the worst thing is because when it's aired here, it's a few hours after America, and I sit on Twitter all day, and I saw people tweeting about it and stuff, and I tried to keep offline, couldn't see, but I knew what was coming, and also, just seeing that was just kind of emotional, so I had to pause it for a minute and take a walk, and then got back into it.
And then I also checked out the Cronulla Sharks Road to Victory over the weekend as another bit of a sports fix.
Was that the one on their website?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that as well. Oh, mate, us both being Cronulla fans, I still get emotional every time I see any footage of that grand final.
As soon as they got to the grand final, I was like, oh, here it all comes again. All the emotions came flooding back.
I don't think I haven't tried to watch. I haven't watched the full grand final since the actual grand final just because I haven't gotten around to it. So it was interesting hearing like some of the commentary and seeing some stuff. But, oh man, just going through that season, I forgot about a bunch of different things and some of the players. And it's a really good look in how we went. And it's amazing to see who's left since then, I guess, when they start again. But, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'd be able to rewatch the whole grand final, though. It was just the 10, 15 minutes in this documentary was hard enough. Too stressful.
Oh, yeah.
Like that last 10 minutes of the game was ridiculous.
Oh, just the anxiety and stuff. I remember, I'm not good at watching sport that I've watched before. Even if I know the result, like even going back to basketball, like the playoffs with Portland and OKC last year when Dame hit that winner to send up the series. Even watching that, I know the result, but I still can't watch it. I still get anxious because I think back to how I felt in with that Cronulla grand final and after a couple of drinks, and I think it was listening out the day before. So when I got to the grand final, I was a bit dusty and just a very surreal day. And then just that final whistle when it went off, I remember just looking around, seeing so many Cronulla fans just everywhere. We just controlled the whole ground. I reckon we had 90% of the people, and just everyone was crying and embracing. And it was honestly best sporting moment of my life.
Yeah, it's one of the only times I've fully properly cried at the end of a game.
Oh, yeah. I even teared up in the documentary.
Yeah, I was getting close. My mum tried to ring me when the final whistle went, and I just couldn't talk on the phone. I was like, no.
Good times. I miss sport. I really do.
The only thing I wish that the documentary had was a bit more post-interviews, sort of with players looking back on some of those pivotal moments. Yeah,
definitely. I know there's been a few podcasts, like Chad Townsend's got a podcast, I forgot what it's called, but he's interviewed Jack Bird and James Maloney and stuff. I haven't actually listened to them yet, but it's on my list of things I want to listen to. And apparently people I've spoken to have said that they've been really great listens, just hearing the players talk about it so fondly, and even after they've moved on from the club. And Maloney still talks it up, and we all know that he had a bit of a falling out when he left Cronulla, so that was nice. It's nice that they still look on it so positively.
Yeah, because this documentary just sort of felt like sort of a recap highlight package, whereas if it had those interviews, I think it would have just taken it to the next level.
Yeah, definitely.
What else have you been checking out?
Man, literally, when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about tonight, I've literally just been reading and watching and just doing a lot of sports stuff. So, last time I was on the podcast, I mentioned that book by Shea Serrano I read about his rap yearbook. I've now been reading a book called Basketball and Other Things. So it's basically a collection of questions asked, answered, and illustrated by him. So it's a broad range of different things where he just talks about he's grown up loving the NBA. So there's things like who's the greatest dunker in NBA history. They make a Franken player, so you pick parts from different players and stuff. And he also talks about, I'm only halfway through it, but he also talks about the best TV shows and movies with like basketball players and stuff, and it's like really well illustrated, really well written, and so it's a nice look on basketball. Like seriousness, also kind of funny. It's a really good forward by Reggie Miller, who's one of my favourite non-Portland players growing up. So that was quite an interesting read and stuff. So yeah, I've had another book that has been keeping me going with that sport, I guess.
Sounds like it'd be like a good companion to the Last Dance.
Yeah, so in the one of the chapters, it actually says the first chapter is what year was Michael Jordan the best version of Michael Jordan. So he just goes through all the stats and all the year by year of what was the best one. And actually, when I first started watching The Last Dance, that's what inspired me to start reading this again, because I remembered that. So I reread that, and yeah, it's just missing sport. Like I was watching some streams of people playing NBA 2K, and it's just not the same. I think this is a bit more interesting than that. So yeah.
Is it like the other book as well, where he gets other people's perspectives?
No, it's just his writing. So he also has like little notes and stuff, but it's just all his perspective and all. But it's also really well illustrated and stuff. So I'm actually, the chapter I'm up to right now, it's funnily enough, it's he's got a drawing of a Spurs player, and it's which dunks are the most disrespectful dunk in the Hall of Fame. So he goes through and he says, are all dunks disrespectful? How do you know when a dunk is disrespectful? And then he just goes through them all. So whenever I read anything, right, so I go on YouTube and have a look at the footage and stuff if it's something I don't necessarily know, because a lot of stuff from the 80s and 90s, which I don't really remember. So, yeah, it's great. It's a really good read.
Yeah, it sounds like the perfect thing to have during this time of no sport. It gives you something to go and search out and watch bits and pieces. Yeah,
definitely. And actually it was one of President Obama's favourite reads of 2017. So, you know how he always releases his good books. So that would have been a real honour for Shia when it came out.
Well, absolutely. To get mentioned by the former president's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Obama's a big Chicago Bulls fan as well. So he's not just like a fake sporting fan. So, yeah, you'd be quite honoured by that. You look back and you look in the index and you can actually search for your favourite players or moments or whatever. So, obviously, the first thing I did, Damian Lillard being my favourite current player, I went and read all the pages of all his stuff. But they have everything from finals, all different years, Yao Ming, Kevin Love, I'm just picking out random names here. It even has things like the Jordan Shrug, which we saw in the Last Dance against my beloved Portland. So,
no, nice. So it's something you can you don't have to sit there and read page by page. You can sort of skip around in.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like you can look at the opening chapters and stuff and just say, hey, I want to read this or whatever. But I like to read it all in one go. But I have bounced around a little bit as well.
Nice.
Don't really want to read the chapter called Was Kobe Bryant a Dork? I think it's a bit too soon just yet, but we'll get there eventually.
Probably a little bit. Speaking of Obama, what did you think of his first appearance on The Last Dance, where he was billed as former Chicago resident?
Yeah, I saw a tweet that said former Chicago resident, and then on the last two it said President Obama. I was like, oh, okay, he obviously progressed. I don't know if there was an editing error or what, not, but interesting.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know if the recent episodes were re-edited so that they said president.
Yeah, and it might have just slipped through the cracks, or I don't know where they get that logic or the thoughts behind that.
Yeah, it was very strange the first time he popped up. I was like, what? That's a bit disrespectful.
Yeah, big time. But even looking back at that and some of the people that come up, like they were interviewing Nas and Justin Timberlake. And then I think one of my favourite things in the whole thing, I'm just thinking of it now, is when Jerry Seinfeld was there, footage from the 90s, and he was talking and stuff. And obviously, as you mentioned, Seinfeld's my favourite show of all time, and Jordan's probably my favourite athlete from the 90s, if not one of my favourite of all time. So seeing them together, fanboying a little bit.
Especially like seeing Jerry's reaction too. Like even he seemed to be sort of starstruck when he was in the locker room.
Yeah. Not many people would have been let in, and yeah, you just imagine being Jerry Seinfeld, one of the biggest celebrities in the 90s, and that happening and then being starstruck by one of the biggest athletes. So, worlds, in the words of a Seinfeld quote, worlds are colliding.
And I noticed you've been watching another sort of sports-related show, I guess we could call it.
Yeah, it was. Oh, it was another documentary. It was on Aaron Hernandez, the former New England Patriots player who, like, only a few years ago, he scored a touchdown in a Super Bowl against the Giants, and he went to jail for murder, and he was literally murdered people without giving too much away. He murdered people when he was playing in the NFL, which is, you always hear about sporting players, not always, but you will hear about sporting players getting into trouble with the law once they finish. But to have a player currently in the New England Patriots, arguably the biggest NFL team of the past 10 years, and having him go to jail and stuff, that was surreal. Because, yeah, well, I when I watched that Don't Cats, I was like, oh, true crime's pretty cool. And then I suggested that, and I was like, I've got to watch this. And I didn't really, when it was all happening, I wasn't a big NFL fan because I only got into it the last few years, but just seeing everything that he did, and yeah, it was 3 episodes. It was full on. It was, yeah, wasn't a nice story, but yeah, it's something I felt I had to watch.
The fact that it happened to while he was playing just made it so much more intense.
Yeah, and things they covered in it, he literally did it, like he murdered someone, and then just went and, like, because they found out things he previously did without giving too much away, and he murdered someone, and then he was just playing like nothing ever happened, and it's, yeah, inside the mind of a serial, how can you, I couldn't do that. I couldn't murder anyone, but I couldn't.
That, and it raises questions on how much did the Patriots know, and
yeah,
it was just wild. Like, you expect if a sports player is going to get caught up in some sort of legal trouble, it's not going to be murder.
Nah, not at all.
Like, it's like to the absolute maximum extreme.
Yeah, as messed up as you'll see, like, sporting players assaulting people, like Jack Whiten a few years ago, or further for thoughts of assault, but just that next level of literally killing someone, and it looked like he just did it in cold blood, and it wasn't like it was I think the term's manslaughter. He literally murdered someone, and he just didn't seem to care. And then I guess it's kind of weird because he might not have had the same emotions as someone else that doesn't get hit all the time playing NFL, like, because you boom, boom, boom. And yeah, it's just it's weird to think about.
Yeah. Really quality documentary, though. I loved it when it came out.
Yeah, really well put together. I've been wanting to watch it for a while, and once I watched that Don't Cats, I was like, I like true crime now, so I gave that a go, and I need to watch more true crime stuff. If you had any recommendations, I'd be open to watch them.
None off the top of my head. I have a few on the schedule planned to watch, so I'll keep you updated once I get through them.
Yeah, maybe you can watch one and be on the next podcast, and I'll listen and I'll watch it, like the next person you talk to, whether it's Blake or I forget the other guy's name, and see how you go with everything that you're watching, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, so this weekend, I had a bit of a movie weekend. Checked out the new Chris Hemsworth movie that's on Netflix, Extraction.
Yeah, I love him. How was that?
It was actually pretty good. Like, it's very much just a run-of-the-mill action blockbuster.
Yeah.
But Hemsworth just is really good, as he seems to fit the role of a former soldier really well.
I think what's Thor, I guess, so that's a bit of a soldier, you can say.
Yeah, so he's playing this soldier that is tasked with extracting a Indian gangster's son who's been kidnapped.
Okay.
It all takes place in India, so obviously super crowded. And then because it's based on a graphic novel, it's kind of really over the top in some sequences.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
The moment that really stood out for me was in the early part of the movie. There's this chase scene, which is all filmed sort of as it follows him as one, like, continuous long shot.
Yeah.
So it's just like this intense part where it's like, it just feels like the action is just rolling and rolling and rolling, and there's nothing that is going to get in the way of it. So that was probably that was the coolest thing I saw in it. Was
it a Michael Bay film? Is that what? Or did I hear that wrong?
No.
Oh. Who was the director of that? I'm just trying to think.
I did look it up today, and I can't remember his name. It was someone's first movie, though.
Oh, okay. That's wild. And you put it in India where there's like heaps of people around and having shots like that. Yeah, I definitely think it's a movie that I need to watch this weekend. Extraction. Oh, Joe Russo, was it?
That sounds about right. But yeah, there's apparently a sequel in the works at the moment, so
Perfect.
really good, especially for like something that just popped up on Netflix at this time when there is not a lot happening in the movie world.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was a big promo push for it. It just seemed like it came out of nowhere. So, and everyone just seemed to be talking up. So I think that's something I definitely have to watch this weekend. That's for sure.
Definitely give it a look. One to avoid though is probably X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Okay.
Like, I wanted to see it when it first came out and I just never got around to it. And then it popped up on Disney Plus this week. Yep, not the best. Bit of a sad ending to the X-Men and Fox relationship.
See, as with a lot of people these days, I love Marvel movies. I have actually an Iron Man and Stan Lee tattoo on my leg, so I'm that level. But something I've never really been able to get into is all the X-Men movies. Like, I like the spin-offs with Deadpool, but just when the X-Men are together, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was because they weren't that good 10 years ago and I was having bad taste in my mouth. Like, that's something I saw come out. I was like, you know what? Probably going to give that a pass. And after what you've said, not rushing to watch it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's been the big problem. Like, everybody sort of only really knows Wolverine, Cyclops. They don't really know any of the side characters all that well.
Yeah.
And then Fox didn't do a great job with the first couple of movies, and from then it's just been trying to play catch up, and they've never really done anything crazy apart from Logan.
Yeah, Logan was good. I enjoyed that. But just when they're all together as a gang or squad or whatever you want to call it, yeah, I'm not into it.
Yeah, well, hopefully now that Disney has purchased Fox, we can get them in the actual Marvel universe proper and get something quality out of them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because they do have characters that have potential. It's just a matter of somebody executing on that potential properly.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at like Deadpool, and the characters in that, they're all awesome and stuff, and that's still part of the X-Men universe. So hopefully the right people behind it can definitely improve and just go to make Disney a more powerhouse, even more than they are at the moment with the movies and everything they're doing once everything goes back to normal.
Yeah, it's crazy how much stuff they have at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, I just can't wait for everything to start running out again. Like, I was looking forward to seeing Black Widow, speaking of Marvel, but that's obviously been pushed back, and there's a few other ones that have been as well. So
yeah, and then there's the New Mutants as well, which is sort of an X-Men spin-off, but it looks like a horror type movie, which seems to be coming out, should be soon, but it was scheduled for soon, and then it's kind of been, everything's delayed, and now it's a matter of, is it going to come out on just streaming platforms?
Yeah, wow. And that'd lose them a lot of money. And everything just, because they'd have to push that back or then push other movies back and stuff. I know Venom 2 was supposed to be scheduled for like October this year, but I guess they'd have to move that as well. And even though that's a Sony Marvel movie, it's going to be very interesting to see what studios do with all their movies plans for the rest of the year and when they come out, because obviously we can't see in cinemas, and even with smaller capacity cinemas, movie theaters won't make the money that they would if they sold out a cinema. So yeah, it's either they wait or...
If the Universal results this week are anything to go by, when they put out Trolls World Tour, it became like a record-setting release for them, and it had only been out in cinemas for about a week, and then it went straight to on-demand, and it's made all its money back just on on-demand. So
really,
there's potential there for movies to come out that way, especially when people are stuck at home and looking for things to watch. Like, I know I'd drop $5 on a movie.
Yeah, we've started doing that more. Like, we dropped some money on... We watched Jojo Rabbit, which was amazing, and then The Gentleman finally came out on where you could rent it for a day, and we watched that. And because obviously we're not spending as much money on movies or whatever, $6 on a movie and you watch it with a couple of people, it's a couple of dollars. It's definitely worth it. And if you're getting new content and stuff, I think this is going to be a time where people are going to be open to doing that more. So we might see even the way these these production companies change their release plans as well.
Yeah, like $6 for a movie, like you'd be willing to see at least 1-2 movies a week that way rather than going to the cinema and spending $30-40.
Yeah, and then you think about the popcorn and drinks and stuff. It's $6. Make your own popcorn, make your own drinks, have a couple of beers if you're that way inclined, and I think it's a great way to spend some money.
And anything else you've been sort of using entertainment wise?
Oh man, I started running a lot, and obviously when I run, I've been doing like long distance running. So I did like 5-10. I did a half marathon the other day. So I've been listening to a lot of music. Yeah.
How? Why?
I did the City to Serve a couple of times, and then I started running, and I was like, okay, I got to 14 Ks, and I was like, you know what? I've been drinking heaps. I'm not allowed to have another beer until I run a half marathon. And then just one day I was like, I need to do this because I need a beer. So I've been listening to a lot of like music and stuff, and with a lot of live streams that DJs are doing, it's been amazing. Like, I've been listening to some Dom Dollar's done like 3 different streams. So I listen to them when I'm running, and I actually finally, something I want to do for years, I've actually made a playlist on my own Spotify, and I've called it Happy Songs. And it's basically songs that make me feel happy or that I've liked from over the years. No rules except that. So I use the happy songs for the last little bit of my run to help me get over the line, because last few Ks you're struggling and stuff. So everything from like house from like the 90s and 2000s to songs I knew when I was younger, some newer stuff, and it's been really good putting it together and curating it. And just whenever I think of a song randomly, I'll just add it to it. So I reckon over the last few weeks, I've listened to more music than watching anything else. And I'm also trying to listen to albums I've never listened to before. So listened to Burial album the other day, Radiohead, been listening to Tool. Even though I saw them in concert, I'd never listened to their albums and stuff. So just trying to use this time to listen to stuff I don't usually listen to. So really enjoying it, actually. Nice.
Is the playlist public? Can people find it if they look for it?
Yeah. I can send you. I just call it Happy Songs, and I think it's under my profile, Jaxon Carr. But I'll look it up and I'll figure it out. And maybe if you just wanted to, you can put in the comments or like a note for it. Yeah, it's fun, and I've got friends to send me songs to put on and stuff. It's just a bit of a laugh and makes you feel good.
Yeah, nice.
Because I can't DJ at the moment, so this is the closest thing I can do, I guess.
Closest thing you get to it is just put together playlists for people.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to stay happy. I watched Frenchie's new stand-up comedy special over on Amazon Prime called Turn It Up.
Frenchie, like that, the bloke from Down Your Way, the comedian.
Yeah.
He's got a thing on Amazon. That's hectic. He's funny. I like him.
They put out a whole heap of new specials this week, and he got his put up there.
Wow.
It's typical Frenchie comedy, like super crash, unpredictable, all over the place.
I like him. He's a funny guy. I want to watch that. That sounds funny. How long does it go for?
An hour and 17 minutes or something like that.
Wow.
And yeah, like he just takes shots at footballers, particularly Big Papi.
Oh, perfect.
So that's one of the best parts. And then one of his fans in attendance cops a bit of a grilling because he has a couple of maxi bonds in his pocket.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just one of those ones that just goes all over the place. It's just crazy, ridiculous humour, but super funny.
Just a good, stupid laugh, and good to support, I guess, a local comedian that I just thought he was put up videos on Facebook and TikTok and stuff. Good to see he's does stand-up specials. That sounds awesome. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, definitely worth a check. I laughed a lot. Mrs. found it a bit stupid, but I found it quite funny.
So I'm guessing it's just a bit of a bloke's humour.
Yeah, it's just all like fart jokes, footballers, stuff like that.
Sometimes you just need that, and with everything going on in the world, sometimes you just need to laugh yourself silly over the dumbest stuff.
Yeah, like it's not like super highbrow educational humour. It's literally just I'm being an idiot, putting maxi bonds up my nose and things like that.
I spend enough time scrolling on TikTok laughing at dumb stuff. I'm pretty sure I could be good to support a local comedian and just not really have to think and have a laugh. Oh, definitely. I've definitely got to check that one out.
Yeah, awesome to see him get something on Amazon Prime too.
Yeah, such a global company as well. I usually see Stan supporting Australian shows and stuff. I think they're producing more Australian content than anyone else. But to see Amazon, like the richest man in the world owns Amazon, so like having seen that, it's really great for him. So hopefully get some good exposure from it.
Yep. Do you have a top recommendation for the week?
Besides my playlist, because I like to support myself, I can't go past The Last Dance. I think it's the best. It's not over yet, but I reckon it's the best documentary I've ever seen in my life. Yeah,
I'd agree. It's going to take something pretty terrible to knock it off the pedestal, I think, on the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, that's number one for me. So I'm going to assume the same for you.
Yeah, that, and this week I'd probably recommend Extraction, just because it's a really quality action blockbuster that is available super easily via Netflix.
Yeah, awesome. I'll check that one out. And do you have anything in sights to watch over the next week or so?
What did I have on my list? So Blake recommended Uncorked, so I have to go back and watch that.
Of course he did.
Westworld.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and finish that last season.
Yeah.
And then Jerry Seinfeld drops a new special tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Or is that tonight? It might actually be tonight. It might be available now. So, yeah, I've got to check that one out. So we'll have to chat about that one next time.
Yeah, definitely. Save that one for me. We'll talk about that. I told you last time I was going to try to get through Ozark. I got through the second season.
Yep.
Kind of struggled. From what I've heard from season 3, I'm going to start that tonight. And also I need to watch Afterlife season 2, Ricky Gervais's show. I think I'm going to laugh and cry myself silly in that. So that's my plan for this. And Extraction is my plan for next week or so.
Yep. Yeah, that second season of Ozark's a bit slow, but the third one will pick it right back up for you.
Mate, you got me going through it because of what you were saying, that it was slow and it'll get good in season 3. I pushed through, like my half marathon. I made it to the end. I'm ready to go. Season 3, let's get it.
Awesome. Okay, thank you everyone for listening to the Commentary Booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review and subscribe on iTunes because it's really helping us grow. Top 10 in film reviews last week. You can follow me on social media at JamieAppsMedia, and you can follow Jaxon on Instagram at Deckhead89. Thank you so much, Jaxon.
Thank you, my friend. I'll talk to you soon, hey?
Yep, have a good week.
You too. See you, buddy.
The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine Jam Zine over on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the Jam publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are of their support. Brian and June Hart, Caitlin Fitzgerald, Courtney Paulson, Tracy Apps.